Hi guys, welcome to the first weekly update from the Red Robin podcast. Just me, Joe Appleyard. What we're going to do is we hope to bring you just a weekly update, whatever happens, guys, during the pre-season. I know not much happens, but since we last did a regular podcast, obviously the last podcast was with James Green, Heritage Cast. Definitely listen to that one, guys. It's a really good listen, really interesting to hear James's story, all his time at Wilkinson Rovers, not playing at Wembley, Sandercock getting sacked and then ultimately having the chance to go play in the NRL. That didn't work out, and now he's running a successful mortgage advice business with his wife. So I definitely listen to that one. Remember, it's on all our pages, including the YouTube one. We did a live stream, and we've got a few more ex-Robins lined up before the new year that we're going to do live streams with, and also release more podcasts. So the content is definitely going to keep coming from me and Chris. I think the first thing that we really need to speak about is that George King signed a 3-year deal. I remember when George King signed, I'll be honest, I wasn't optimistic. He wasn't really featuring for Chester's Wakefield at the time. We was going through a bit of a slump ourselves, and when we signed George King, I'll admit I've kind of put on Twitter that I don't think it's really going to work out. How wrong I was, I don't know everything, guys. I know I like to think that I do, but I really don't. George King's been outstanding. The 2 years he's been with the Robins. I think 2021's really shown why Tony Smith brought him in. Obviously, he worked with him at Warrington. There was linked with his brother, one with Toby, earlier this year. George just come on leaps and bounds. I think he's our best prop forward by a country mile at the moment. I know there's others who may disagree, but I think George King, the work rate he does is unreplaceable. And now that George Lawler's gone, I think him and Matty Staunton, you've got Sims and Vetty, you've got Tom Garrett who's joining us in pre-season. So we're looking quite strong in the front row. Greg Richards joining, and then we've got the young lads, Okoro, and there's others in who are joining as well. So I believe that George King's only going to get better. Him alongside Rowan Mills, Jez Litton, young lads, they're here for the future. George King is 27 now, is in his prime as a prop forward. He's with us till 2025. And just really good news. I think the problem we've had for so long at Rovers is we get good players and they'll leave us, or it doesn't work out, or we'll sign them for a year and then they'll move on. Whereas now all the signings we're making are either 2-year deals or 3-year deals. So that is George King. Will be staying with the Red and Whites until the end of 2025. And then we haven't covered that Jordan Abdul played for England against France. Obviously we saw former Robin George Lawler, who's coming on the podcast soon, and Mikey Lewis play against Jamaica for the Knights. That was a fantastic occasion, but definitely Jordan Abdul starting number 7 for the England first team. He kicked 3 goals in a 30 points to 10 victory. First half, England were on fire. It took a 20 points to 0 lead after about 15-16 minutes, and it was kind of like, oh, here we go, it's going to be another one of them games. Pointless internationals. I know people are quick to slag off the international game, but I thought Abdul ran the show in the first half. He was linking up with the player, the new spans. You had Nala Vald, Paul McShane at hooker, so definitely different to what Abdul's been used to this season. I think his high bombs were really good. Arthur Moore got fullback for the French national team, really struggled in that first half. Tony Gigot as well. Abdul did what he did there. He does best, he really contributed on the left-hand side, linking with Wakefield's Reece Lynn, 2 Hull-born lads playing for the England national team, which was brilliant to see. Second half, Abdul will admit himself and the rest of the team, it kind of dwindled out. France made a bit of a late surge, finished 30 points to 10, but we're finally, I think for the first time since Sean Briscoe and Peter Fox, because I know Josh Hodgson played for us, but it was when he'd already moved to Canberra, even though he was still technically a Rovers player. That a Rovers player represented the England national side, so that's great from Jordan Abdul. Hopefully he can continue his form into 2022 and have another successful campaign. He just got pipped by Sam Tompkins for the Man of Steel, so really positive vibes at the moment from the England and Wilkinson Rovers number 7. So congratulations from myself and Chris to Jordan Abdul, who made his first team international debut. I also did a podcast with the Drop Goal podcast, so make sure to check that out, guys. He's a great kid, Warrington fan, young lad still in school, so he's really enthusiastic about rugby league. I just did a season review with him, where I'm sat now, just in my spare room. We speak for about an hour and 10 minutes just about my opinions on the 2021 season, where we need to really go in 2022, and my thoughts on Tony Smith. Really interesting listen, it was nice for me not to host it for a change. I love hosting with Chris and doing all the show and the podcasts and the chat shows, but for me just to sit back and answer the questions on Rovers, something that I know a lot about, was really good. So check that out, guys. It was the Drop Goal podcast, and I'm the most recent episode, so it's quite easy to find. If you need any help, just give me me or the Red Robin podcast social media a message and we'll sort that out. A few days later, the Rovers home shirt was announced. I mean, I'll try, and you can obviously see it on there. There's Lachlan Coote repping it. I think he'd had my shirt on. It looks like a triple XL. That never mind what Lachlan Coote will be wearing. I'll be honest with you, the badge is growing on me. The kit, not so much. I think the band needs to be a little bit higher. I'm one of them. I do like the kits. I don't buy them personally. I know a lot of you guys do them for kids at Christmas and stuff. And I feel like the shirt, Rovers do really good things on the media page. You know, obviously when I left, don't really speak to them as much anymore, and I don't do anything officially for the club anymore, which is a shame. But I do think they do really good stuff, but then sometimes I think, you know, you just need to do little things better. I mean, the way it was presented, Lachlan Coote, I think doing it at Lordline, it looks like it's Lordline with the graffiti in the background. That was brilliant. I'm looking at it now, but I just think the shirt could have been maybe a little bit smaller, maybe a shirt fitted one. I don't know if there was none in stock, but maybe just delay it until there is. But it looked a little bit big for Lachlan Coote, but it doesn't really matter what they're playing. They could play in a 2-2 and Tiara, as long as they pick up wins and they end up in the playoffs again. I'm not really that fussed what the shirts are like. I think they've changed the profile picture, the Robin images on all social media to navy. So I imagine that that's what the away kit's going to be. It's maybe going to go down the similar route to 2020 when you had the navy 2 stripes and the red in the middle. So you never know, but I'm sure the away kit and maybe a possibility of a third kit will be announced soon. But we know that the Rovers home kit is predominantly red with a white little band on the bottom and then the black with Higher Base, the main sponsor. And Connexin, a new internet company in Hull, that's the main sponsor. We thought it was going to be Bet365 when they did the announcement the day before. I did think it was going to be that because there's been rumours from Paul Lakin, but it's not. It's a Hull brand, an internet company called Connexin, so make sure maybe use them guys, help the company out, because they're the principal sponsors for the next 2 years at least with Hull Kingston Rovers. As you know, I'm doing my best to get in the world of rugby league media and sports media. I've been doing a bit of football as well, football commentary and radio, but I've also started my own blog, and I've also been appointed Hull KR reporter by Prost Rugby League and Prost International, so it's a great honour for me to do that. I'd be going to the games anyhow. I love doing the media side of it, as much as I love being in the North Stand with my family at home games and going with you guys in the away end. Away games this season, I will be in the media suites. I'll be doing reports, anything from pre-season. I've already put my first one out this morning about pre-season. We'll discuss that soon, but I'll be doing the reports. I'll be putting them on all the forums, all the Facebook pages. So I know sometimes it does get a bit annoying, but I'm just trying to spread my word, guys. So please mention my name to people, share my stories, share anything the podcast does, because I know myself especially was doing most of it, and Chris as well, who does all the media, does all the photos, does all the interaction on social media. We really appreciate all your support. And I also did a 2021 season review. Took me quite a while to do. The first time, pretty new to it. I ain't got a journalism degree. You know, been teaching for 4 years now, and that's the route I've been going down. But really love doing this media side of it, and I hope that you guys enjoyed my 2021 season review. And again, it's all on my social media. If you ever want to get anything or any information, feel free to message me. And then we announced that we're going to do this YouTube page. Really going from strength to strength with a podcast. You know, we're an independent one. We're kind of limited to our viewers. We know we're a Rovers podcast, but we've had other people on, and we hope to get different guests on in 2022. We want it to be linked obviously predominantly to Hull Kingston Rovers, but we do want to do other stuff as well. Bit of a mistake there, I'm just pressing my sound off, but yeah, so really thanks to everyone. We've already had like 300 views on the James Green one, another 300 on Spotify and stuff, so that's nearly 600 listens after 5 days. So we are going to do a live stream with George Lawler once him and Grace and the baby is settled, so congratulations to them. Grace gave birth yesterday, so we're going to give them guys a few weeks to get settled with the baby before we pester him to come and do a podcast. Former teammate of mine, George, so it's going to be an interesting listen. Also Adam Quinlan, he's going home to Australia, so we're going to wait a few weeks again. He's got to get home, get settled over in Oz again. He was rumoured to be going to the Lee Centurions. We know that's not happening. So we're going to do a few live streams with Adam Quinlan and George Lawler, and another guest that we're going to announce later in the week, because we don't want to give anything away. But yeah, so keep following us on the YouTube, keep subscribing, follow all our LinkedIn, because we really do appreciate it. Other news, really good news, and I like reporting on this because I feel like it gets overshadowed, was that the Hull KR women's team have aligned with the club ready for the championship. Obviously, they won League One last year. They got promoted to the second tier. There was working with the community trust. Obviously, there was affiliated with a club that still play at the outside bit of the ground, but there wasn't actually attached to Hull Kingston Rovers as 100%. And OKR chief exec Paul Aiken said, as the Women's Rugby League continues to grow, it's important our women's side and their youth pathways are an integral part of the one club, one team at Hull Kingston Rovers. So the women are going to receive full backing, they're going to be playing games on the actual pitch. Their aim is to get promoted to the Betfred Super League, to have our women playing for England, you know, following the likes of Faye Gaskell, Jodie Cunningham, Tara Jones, all these people for Saints, Wigan, Warrington, Leeds, York, Castleford. We want Hull Kingston Rovers to be there as well. And there's also the added bonus that the derby's going to happen because Hull FC are in the Championship as well. So that's going to be a really good clash next year. I'm hoping to do it around the Easter weekend when the derby will be, maybe get the fans in. Could maybe do it before, maybe make it a trio with the academy or the under-19s. So that's really positive news for the women's side, and I'll be doing a little blog, and hopefully we'll get one of the women's team, a few of them on the show for their pre-season, speak about their aims and hopes for the championship campaign in 2022. So good luck to Ben, George and everybody involved with the women's team. We'll be following it on the Red Robin podcast, keeping you up to date with all the weekly scores and news from the women's team. Talking of the academy and the young lads as well, Rovers also signed 6 academy prospects for the 2022 reserve side. So Jason Neverton was delighted to see 6 graduates move up. So we've got Nathan Cullen. He is a prop forward, he's new to the academy, he's transitioned from the wing to the front row so he can play plenty of positions. He's got plenty of dedication and mental toughness, and he hopes to shine for the reserves in 2022. We've got a utility player called Tom Wilkinson. He can play in the centre, the back row and any of the outside backs. He wants to nail down a place for the reserves in 22, and he's very versatile on the field, and he's got valuable experience in the three-quarter line, playing there since a very young age. We've got Bailey Dawson, his dad, I think Sean, he's a really big fan of the Red Robin podcast. We speak to him a lot, he really interacts. His son Bailey, coming through the scholarship programme, he trained with the first team in 2021. He's got a taste for first team environment and the back rower. He's looking to take his game into the next level, so good luck to them 3. We love young Hull halfbacks. We've got 2 of them in Jordan Abdel and Mikey Lewis. We've also got Tom Verity, who's going to be lining up for the reserves next year. A success story from the academy. He's improved week on week following the break that enforced due to COVID-19. A very composed player, and he has an eye for the line, and he looks to build further and get regular game time. And that's what I've noticed about these reserves, and I put it in my blog about Tom Ware, Will Tate, these young lads, Charlie Kavanagh, Daniel Okora, the first teamers who are still going to be playing reserves, Phoenix Luwali Tonga guy. Reserves and loans are massive for these guys because they're not going to be playing for Rovers first team yet. Let's be honest, we don't want to rush them, but these lads, the pathways, playing men's team, playing reserves team, so they're ready to make the step up. You look in the NRL, a main player gets injured, they don't mind because they've got a young kid coming through. We get an injury in Super League, it's kind of like, oh, are we going to get on loan? Are we going to buy a free agent? Well, no, let's just put the pathway through. Let's see these young lads who'll be ready to make the step up. We've also got Alex Dickens, another tough back rower, so this is really good because Rovers have always lacked in the forwards, especially from the young lads since the days of Sonny Esselmont, Aaron Ollett, James Green, all them players. You know, we lack in the forwards, especially as a Hull based players. So another tough back rower. He's trained with the first team as well. He's been part of the Junior Robins. He's mobile, he's devastating in that pack, and he's got a really high work rate in attack and defence. And finally, we've got Kieran Lawton, a fullback / centre. He came on trial from Doncaster, where he's actually from. So not a Hull-born lad. He's very athletic and apparently he's got devastating pace. So let's keep an eye out. We've got Kieran Lawton, Alex Dickens, Tom Verity, Bailey Dawson, Tom Wilkinson and Nathan Cullen, who are going to be training with the reserves, playing for the reserves, and you never know, maybe get a chance at first team with the likes of Charlie Kavanagh, Tom Ware, Daniel Okora, Connor Moore, you've got Connor Barley, Zach Fish with these young kids in the under-16s as well. Let's keep an eye on AJ Chalmers as well. He was a good lad from the Derby, the under-16. So Rose have definitely got an abundance of talent, and I'm hoping for Jason Neverton and the boys, and whoever's coaching the reserve system, the best of luck, because they're the pathway to the first team, and in 5-6 years we'll be talking about them in a first team environment. There was also speculation, of course there's always speculation in East Hull and Super League, that reports emerging from Australia that Rovers, Leeds and Catalan are in for former State of Origin Maroon player Dylan Napper. My thoughts on Dylan Napper, is he coming to East Hull? No, he's not. I think he's going to go to Catalan. The only way we could buy and sign Napper and he's going to be on big money. And I know Rovers need to spend money. You know, people go, he's not going to be on that wage. If Rovers want to develop and want to get to grand finals, win Challenge Cups, win League Leaders Shield, you've got to break the bank. You've got to hit that salary cap. And I know we will do eventually, but we've got money to spare. I'm sure we have. This team can't. I know Lachlan Coote's a big signing, but I doubt we'll be on the 1.2, 1.3 million salary cap. I highly doubt it. You look at people who have signed for Wigan and Warrington in the past, and they've got a much higher calibre squad who'll be demanding more money. So I highly doubt that Rovers will be at the cap. I think Dylan Napper's nailed on. Him, Mitchell Pearce and Suagi Takaralagi, whatever he's called, who plays for the Roosters. Apparently, the French media, BN Sports, the NRL papers today, on Monday the 8th of November, have announced that it's probably going to be Catalan. So the only way we do that is if you're talking Sims, Vete or Takarangi leaves, because Parcell, Kenny Dowell, Lynette and Lachlan Coote have all recently signed either new deals or obviously signed for us in Lachlan Coote. I highly doubt we'll see Dylan Napper, but he's one of the rumoured players that could have been maybe entering the Red and Whites in 2022, but I expect to see the former Maroon and the Cook Island International head into the south of France, but keep an eye out for that one. I'm sure that'll be announced in the next few days. And speaking about my blogs and my articles, the first 10 players were back for pre-season today, and that included Ethan Ryan. And in my post, in my blog for Prost International, Prost RL, I picked Ethan Ryan out to have a big season, an injury-free season, and it's kind of, I've had the journalist cast on my first official blog and my first official post. He's going to be in a cast for the next 8 weeks. He requires wrist surgery on the wrist that he did second time. I think it's the right-hand side one. But we know that Ethan Ryan is going to require surgery in the most recent wrist injury, meaning he'll be in cast for 8 weeks from Monday. So that'll be Monday the 15th, I believe. It is another setback for the promising winger. I expect big things of Ethan Ryan. I'm just hoping that this isn't a recurring injury and it comes back to bite him and we're always going, oh, what could have been? You know, we've had so many players who we think, what could have been? And I hope Ethan Ryan doesn't fill into that bracket. And it's also required me to really think, are we steady in the outside backs? You know, the left-hand side, you know, is going to be Ryan Hall and Kenny Dowell. But that right-hand side, you've got, you know, Sam Wood, you've got Jimmy Carnos, Ben Crooks, Brad Takarangi, Ethan Ryan when he's fit. I just feel... I don't know. I just think with Rovers, we're very injury prone. Sometimes we can pick up a lot of injuries. We don't know if Crooks is going to be ready for round one. Jimmy Carnos, I think he's better in the pack now, moving on into his later years, his twilight era as a rugby league player. I do believe he hasn't got the pace as an outside back and struggles defensively, and that's just me being honest. I'd love Rovers to go in for Ryan Hampshire, Rocky Hampshire, as you may know him. I've had a lot of people say to me, oh yeah, but you want to trust the youth, and I know I did say that earlier on in the little video, so it's kind of contradicting myself. But I just think Ryan Hampshire, he's got that experience, he's been there and done it, he's had plenty of Super League clubs. When we played him in Wakefield a few months back, he ripped us apart. He's rapid. The thing is with Rovers, we're a brilliant side off the cuff and we can make plenty of meters, but there's only a fistful of players who I could even think could challenge the fastest players in the league. We haven't got that electric burst of pace on the wing. We've got that in Ethan Ryan, but Ryan Hall, Kenny Dowell, Takarangi, even Crooks, when they make a break, you know they're going to get stopped. They're not going to go 100 metres off an interception. Whereas I think Rocky Hampshire, he can play full-back, wing, centre. He's played 5'8", half-back, hooker. He'll offer you that versatility. He might want a bit of money. He might want X amount. But these players, that Ryan Hampshire, he's not going to be on the quarter spot. He's not going to be on mega money. He's played at Wakefield. You know, he's based around the local area, so it wouldn't have that far to travel. I just think he'd be a real astute signing, and he could play on the wing. He might get a starting spot. He's been really good these past few years. He can fit into fullback. I know we've got PLT. I know we've got Dagger. We've got these young kids, but I just think it doesn't hurt to maybe have another experienced player like him. There was Matty Russell. He's gone to Toronto. These outside backs, there's not many of them left. There's not many players left as a free agent, and I'm surprised Ryan Hampshire hasn't been picked up. I'm only saying this on Monday the 8th of November because I might eat my words, and in 2 days he might have signed for Toulouse or he might have signed back at Wakefield. But at this moment in time, there hasn't been any rumours, there's been no links. So Ryan Hampshire's currently a free agent, what we believe, and I personally would like to see him at Wilkinson Rovers. I don't know about you guys. Feel free to comment if you disagree or agree with me. That's absolutely fine. That's what the podcast's for. That's what these updates are about. So that is what's happened in the past few weeks, guys, since we did our final podcast. I'm going to try and aim to do one every Monday night. I'm pretty busy at the moment doing all the media, but the Red Robin podcast takes priority. This is my main, source of media. I love doing it. Me and Chris were really grateful for all the support. We hope this weekly update can be something else for you guys. I will eventually do it on a live stream. I just wanted to test it out with my new mic and on my camera. It's my works laptop. I know it's not the best. I know it's not HD, but maybe that's not the best thing after a Monday night with my face. So yeah, we really appreciate everything, guys. Comment, keep messaging us, keep interacting. We're going to be doing more announcements soon. This has been the first weekly update with me, Joe Appleyard, from the Red Robin podcast. Keep in touch, guys, and we will speak to you very, very shortly.